I think we are just about ready here, Kinder Rockets. Does it look like Mrs. F on your end? Do you see anything that's popping up? Looks like we might be good on the Facebook end. Yep, here we go, Miss F. We're live on Facebook. All right, so those of you that are here, guys, remember, just like last time, we had two groups. We had some Kinder Rockets. We had people on Facebook that we were talking with and sharing with, and then you guys. And you guys couldn't see them, and they couldn't see you. And so what we're going to do to introduce everybody like we do every day is we're going to get our friend. Who's our friend? Hello, Kinder Rockets. My name's Joshua. I'm going to introduce our guest really quick. We have our special guest. Her name is Mrs. F. Mrs. F, could you say hello to everybody?
Hello. It's so great to be here working with the kindergartners.
No, you haven't met her, right? And Mrs. F, where are you from? Where are you from?
I'm in the state of Illinois, and I teach kids that are kindergartners all the way up to 5th grade. I teach them art. So I teach kindergartners just like you, and I teach near Chicago. Have you heard of Chicago before? No?
It's really Chicago. Chicago is really far away, and that's kind of where Mr. Manny was from, and it's about a 3-hour plane flight. So maybe in a car, like 30 hours, maybe a little more from where we are. That's a long way, huh? Go ahead, Petey. Petey has a question, and then we'll say hi to everybody. Okay, Petey, go ahead. The other planet? Tell me, Petey's telling us about another planet. Do you know which planet you're thinking about, Petey? Well, if you think about it, you can always share. Thank you. Looks like everybody's really good for ready. Willie, could we say hi to everybody real quick? Do you mind if we say hi and greet everybody here? All right, Gael, your sister's name is Emma, right? Is that right? Am I remembering that right? Okay, good. I want to say hello to everybody. Okay, so Miss F, this is how we greet in our Facebook kids and audience. This is how we greet everybody every day. So first, I'm just going to go through and let's start in the middle with Jacob. All right, everybody say hello, Jacob. Hello, Jacob.
Hello, Jacob.
Hi, Peter. Hello, Peter.
Hi, Peter.
Hi, hello, William. Hello, William.
Hello, William.
Hi, Aiden. Hello, Aiden.
Hi, Aiden.
Hi, Rosemary. Hello, Rosemary.
Hi, Rosemary.
Hi, Mrs. F. Hello, Mrs. F. Hi, Emily. Hello, Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Hi, Gael. Hello, Gael.
Hi, Gael.
Hi, Emma. Hello, Emma.
Hi, Emma.
Hi, Iris. Hello, Iris.
Hi, Iris.
Iris, is Cindy with you today? Or Jasmine? Is Cindy or Jasmine with you today? Hi, Cindy and Jasmine. Hello, Cindy and Jasmine. Hi. All right. Hello, Joshua. Hello, Kinder Rockets.
Hello, Joshua.
Hi, Mr. C. Hello, Mr. C.
Hi, Mr. C.
All right, everybody's got to be really good listeners today, right? Because we're going to draw this beautiful fish. All right, you guys ready to listen? All right, so let's do a quick check. All right, Iris, you want to turn your microphone back off for me just because you got a little background noise? Miss F, what are the materials that we're going to need today as we're getting ready for our drawing? What materials might we need?
So you're going to need paper.
Paper. Okay, I got my paper here. Paper.
So here's paper.
Just wait and listen, right?
With pencil.
Pencil.
And then we're going to trace things. You could have a marker for tracing, a black marker. And then something for coloring.
So it could be crayons, right?
Or markers.
Markers, or maybe colored pencils, whatever I have, right?
Colored pencils, yep.
Okay, good.
So paper, pencil. I like to trace in black marker, but you can trace with a black crayon. You could trace with a black marker, and then something to color with.
All right, Petey, do you have a question? Yeah, go get your marker. That's fine, okay? Go get your marker. All right, so hopefully everybody out in Facebook is ready for us as well. Again, we're here and we have Mrs. F and I have two different things going on here. We have our class on one screen and we have you guys on the other screen, and we're very happy to be with you both. All right, so it looks like our Kinder Rockets are just about ready. So if they're just about ready, Mrs. F, I'm guessing that our Facebook people might be just about ready too.
Okay. So should we get started?
Are you guys ready to get started? Thumbs up if you're ready to get started. And again, just a reminder, guys, when we are drawing, we need to listen to our instructions, right? And so as always, even just Kinder Rockets out there, right? We think about our microphones and we want to make sure we have a good learning environment, right? If you have a quiet space, you can leave your microphone on. But if your space is not as quiet, just turn your microphone off. And when you want to say something, you can turn it back on. Is everybody good with that, Kinder Rockets? Yeah, it sounds good, because remember, we want a nice, quiet learning environment so we can be respectful to our classmates. All right, Mrs. F, take it away.
Okay. Before we get started, I want to just point out some of the shapes in my rainbow fish. So Mr. C read the story Rainbow Fish. Was that last night, Mr. C?
Yes, that was last night, and if you guys didn't watch it, you can go back and watch it. I'll send your mom and dad the link again.
Okay. So Rainbow Fish has a bunch of shapes in it. So I want to show you the shapes before we start drawing. So this shape, do you guys know what this shape is? Does anybody know? Can you see it? Oh, you know what? You said it. I'm gonna show you right here. There is an oval right here. That's an oval to make the fish body. The tail has like 1, 2, it's kind of like 3 points. What shape has 3 points? 1, 2, and then there could be another one here. What shape is that?
Looks to me like, let's see, what does that look like, guys? What do you see for the tail? It looks like a candy. It does kind of look like a candy wrapper. You're right.
Yeah. If the shape had a point right here, what would that look like?
What shape is that? It's not a rectangle, but a what? There you go, a triangle. Good job, Willie.
Good job. And you know what? There is a fin down here. Do you see that one has 1, 2, 3 points too? What does that look like? Do you see that?
You guys see what there? Let's see.
And 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, draw that shape, right? And Mrs. F,
no,
Rosemary, what do you think, Mrs. F?
Yet,
yeah, we haven't started yet. That's okay. Just watch for now, guys. You could watch for now. Look at it. It's okay. She's just showing you.
Start.
Yeah, you ready, Willie?
I just wanted to show you some shapes.
It's okay. It's okay. So Willie and Aiden and Petey, you guys got to make sure to be respectful of your spaces, right? So what we can do to reset, how about this? Let's play a quick game of Simon Says, and you can play along with us out there to get a quick reset, okay? All right, Simon Says, touch your nose. Simon Says, touch your ears. Simon Says, give 2 thumbs up. Simon Says, touch your nose again. Touch your eyebrows. Touch your nose. Simon didn't say. All right. So that was, I know some of you started drawing, and that's okay, because I promise she'll probably go a little slower for you guys. She just wanted to show you the shapes, and again, out there in Facebook land. All right. So what do you think, Mrs. F? Are you ready, or do we want to look at a few more shapes?
I think we should just get started. And
Okay, I
I'll
think that's
take
a
it
great idea.
slower. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go nice and slow. So
All
we're
right, you
gonna
ready, Petey?
start with a drawing. We're gonna start with a drawing and then we'll work on coloring, okay? So my paper is horizontal. It's not the tall way, it's the wide way. So set up your paper horizontal, the wide way, because a fish is more wide than it is tall. Okay. So yeah, so my
Those are
paper
a
is
lot of
horizontal.
scales.
Yeah, but that it'll be fun to make. Now I'm going to start by just thinking about how big I want that oval to be. So I use my hand as a guide. Okay, so I'm going to draw, then you draw. So I'm going to start by thinking about the body, and I'm going to stop because it has lips. Did you see these lips? The lips get in the way. So I'm going to start by drawing this line, then I stop when I get to the lips, and then I'm going to stop again here. So let me show you what that looks like.
So Miss F, one of the things I noticed as you were drawing, like you put your hand out and you didn't necessarily draw yet. You kind of imagined where you were drawing with your marker first, right? That way you could kind of picture it in your head first. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay. You see what she's doing there?
I want to draw bigger than my hand, and my hand's pretty big. So if your hand is small, you're going to draw much bigger than your hand. So watch me first. I'm going to start, and I'm going to draw an oval, and then when I get over here, I stop.
Stop.
And then I'm going to just wait until you catch up. So here's my hand. I start and stop. Okay, now that's where the lips are going to go. And now I'm going to give it a little space, and I'm going to come over here and stop when I get to like my thumb, because that's where the fin is going to go. See, that's where the fin is going to be, in that spot, and the lips are in that spot. So I've got the start of that oval, but I didn't finish it yet because we're going to draw the lips next. And so the lips, if I turn my paper like this, can you see my lips look like a heart?
Oh, they do look like a heart. I didn't notice that.
Do you see that heart?
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn my paper like this.
Okay.
And I'm just going to draw a little heart. And my heart touches down in the middle. Can you see that? I mean, what if I zoom in a little on that? Can you see that better?
And my lips, Mrs. F, my lips are a little bigger than yours, but I think that's okay, right? I mean,
I think it's
mine
okay.
doesn't, yeah, it doesn't have to look exactly like yours, right?
Exactly, right. You don't have to. We're doing our very best. We try our best. All right. Okay, we're ready for the next one. Do you see this shape right here? This is called this is actually called the pectoral fin.
Oh.
The ones that are like the arms on a fish are the pectoral fin. Try to say that, pectoral.
Yeah, there you go, Rosemary.
Fin.
Very good.
All right. It's a little bit like a triangle, but it's round. It's a little bit like a triangle, but it's round. You see that? It's a little round. Reminds me of a chicken nugget. Does it look like a chicken nugget?
You guys remember Mr. Manny showed us the king chicken nugget that he drew last time?
Ooh, that sounds good. All right, now I'm going to finish my oval. So I think about what an oval does. It curves and touches. So I'm going to start on the other side of that fin because of overlapping. This fin is in front. So I'm not going to draw through it. I'm going to start over here and curve and touch. So I still have room for a tail fin though. Try to keep a little space for a tail fin.
How am I looking here? Did I leave enough space in the back for my tail fin?
Absolutely, Mr. C, that looks good.
Okay.
I see lips. I see one pectoral fin. You've got a whole oval. You're good. So
Oh.
let's think about that tail fin. Look at that big triangle-like shape. It's so big. Look at how high it goes. Look at how low it goes. And how it touches at the fish oval, the body. Do you see how it touches? So it doesn't start here. It kind of starts here. It's going to go up, down, and then it's going to touch like right here. So I'm going to think about where it starts, and I think about where it stops. I do reminder dots.
Oh,
I have
reminder
a reminder
dots.
dot. Mm-hmm.
And I put the reminder dots to help remember it, right?
Yes, exactly. So this reminds me where to start my tail fin and then where to stop when I connect. So here I go. I'm going to think up and think down and touch. Nice and big. Good. It should look like a fish tail, a fish fin.
I noticed on yours, I didn't do as good of a job as you. I liked how you did that indent over here on your fishtail. I kind of missed that part, but I'm okay with it, right? I can always practice drawing it again.
Yeah, really good. All right, let's do the fin that's on the other side. Did you see that one? This one looks a little bit smaller because it's on the other side of the fish and only part of it is showing. It stops when it gets to the body because the rest of it is on the other side. So when I draw it, I just draw the part that'll show down here. And it reminds me of that same curve. So I go over here and I start that same curve and then I stop for overlapping. So I don't see any more of it. I just get a little hint. Does that make sense? That's
does.
the other, it's sort of like the other arm. So the two fins and you just see the little bit of it at the bottom. All right. So next, I think what we're going to do is this curve. And this curve actually has a name. It's called an apical. This is the curved part that makes sort of like the face of rainbow fish. And what letter does that remind you of? Do you see a letter there?
Huh, I do see a
reminds
letter.
me it reminds me of your teacher, Mr. C. All right, so when I go to draw it, if I draw it too close to the lips, the face is going to be too little. If I draw it way over here, the face is going to be too big. So I think about a spot about right here. Think about a good spot. And then once you've figured out a good spot, draw your C.
And I can add my reminder dots, right, if I need to?
Right. Is this working out? Are you guys doing okay?
Guys want to stop? Let's see what you have so far. It's okay, right? Let's see what you have so far. Let's pause, right? Show us what you have. Good. Good, right?
So Mr. C, I can't see it, right? Or
I can kind of see him. So it looks like, let me show you. Emily looks like she's good, right? Hold yours up, Rosemary. I can see Rosemary's drawed that little C by the face. Emily's waiting for you. Gail, can you hold yours up for me, please? And how you guys doing? Good, Gael, right? Draw that. I got the C there on the face. How you doing, Iris? Looks like a lot of people, I can see that C there. Looks like they're good and they're drawing the face.
Nice.
Thanks, Iris.
Nice. Okay. Well,
so that's my question, yeah? If I've been drawing in pencil, Mrs. F, when do I trace it?
I do it at the very end. That way you can make changes if you need to. But this is so sweet.
Yeah, that's okay.
On my phone. This happened the last time I did one of these.
That's okay. You're a popular person, so we're very grateful to have you with us.
Alrighty, I'm gonna draw the eye next. And the eye starts out like what shape? What's that? That has a name for a shape though.
Yeah, what's the
It is
shape,
like
guys?
an O.
But
It's
when they're
like a
thinking about
letter
shapes,
O.
right? Is it a rectangle? Not a rectangle, right? A rectangle has 4 corners. There you go. Yes, there you go. Circle. There you go.
All right, so it starts with one big circle, and then you can add another circle on the inside, and you can change the direction that your fish is looking. If you move that circle to the side, you can have him looking over his shoulder. Do fish have shoulders? Yeah. I just used my black to fill it in, and I left a little sparkle of white. Do you see that? That's one thing you could do if you want. Or you could fill it in all the way black. If you fill it in all the way black, it would look like that.
Looks really good, Emily.
Right,
It looks good, Emily. Looks good, Emily.
We're still missing some fins. We are missing the top fin, which is called the dorsal fin. Yep, it's called the dorsal fin.
Can everybody, let's say dorsal fin. Dorsal fin.
Dorsal fin.
Can we listen to what sound dorsal fin begins with? What sound does dorsal fin begin with? That's very good. Dorsal fin. All right, I'm ready to draw the dorsal fin, Miss F.
Okay, so my dorsal fin is like a curve up a mountain and then it touches down. So I'm going to start. You know what? I'm going to do a reminder dot. Here's where I'm going to start. And here's where I'm going to stop. So I'm going to put a reminder dot there. So I'm going to start, head up the mountain, and then touch down.
Miss F, can I ask a question? Do you ever put a reminder dot like where you want the curve to go? Like I noticed in the other one, it's kind of a little curvy, or do you just kind of...
You know what? The curve isn't that important, so it's extra, is what I'm thinking.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm just going to head on up, and if a curve happens on my way up, extra, bonus, right? And now I'm going to head on down and touch that reminder dot. So my dorsal fin is the top fin, and it's really big too, right? If you're drawing too small, it's going to be hard to color it, hard to get your details in there. I have one more fin to do. After this dorsal fin, this one is actually called the pelvic fin, the fin that comes down at the bottom. So I only have a little space for mine. Do you guys have space for yours? So mine doesn't have a ton of space, so I'm going to make it kind of small. And do you see how it's a little bit like a triangle again? Do you see that triangle? So I'm going to just do the one point out and then come and meet. So it's something like that. And that'll be my pelvic fin. So I've got my pectoral fins, my dorsal fin, my pelvic fin, my apical. We got so much going on our rainbow fish. And now we're ready for the fun part.
Remember, if we want to say something, we got to remember, like raise our hand or be good with our comments, right? Or you can say, excuse me, Miss F, I have a question.
Did somebody have a question?
You guys good?
These are
you got it. We're Kinder Rockets. We just do our best, right?
Yeah. Don't worry about coloring yet. We're going to learn how to do these scales. And these scales are as simple as the letter W. Do you guys know the letter W? Remember?
Like William.
I'm going to practice the letter W really quick. Do you see my W? If I just make a whole bunch of W's, look at this. W, 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 W. And then what if I did another row of W's? Look at that. And what do you know? My W's all add up to look like, do you see this? they look like the fish scales. They're just a bunch of W's. So that's the secret. You ready to give it a try?
I'm ready to try it.
I turn my fish like this. Turn your fish like this so you can see the W's.
And I think I'm going to watch you do it first before I try it.
Yes. So I'm going to make big W's, like so big that like if I put my fingers down, it would be like my one finger is one part of the W and the other finger is another. That's how big they are. So here we go. Big W.
We're just doing an art lesson here with Mrs. F, okay?
Big W. And then I do it again and hold it. Something's going to happen. What? I just ran into the fin. So I have to stop and pretend and start again. If I run into things, I stop, I pretend, and start again. So I don't want to draw on the fin. I just stop every time I get to the fin. So that's one row of W's. And then I can do some more. And if I run into something, I stop and see if it shows up anywhere else. So I'm going to do some more. And if I keep it nice and big, it's going to be easier to color. And I stop when I get to the fin. And I don't think it shows up anymore. So I'm ready for another row. Big W's, big, big. And they touch. Do you see my W's touch the W's above it? And then I connect. All right, you're almost done. I'm still working on mine, making my W's. How's it looking?
Looks good. Can you guys show it up? Show me looks. Yeah, Emily, take your time, right? Do your best, right? As slow as you want to go. Looks good. Now, Rosemary, you're going to want to start maybe tracing yours, Rosemary. I see with pencil, right? If you feel like you're done, I think. Now, what do you think, Miss F? If I'm done with pencil, is that a good time to trace it?
This is a good time for tracing. Very good. Yep, that was our last drawing step. So if you're ready, you can trace it, and then we can talk about coloring soon.
Yeah, and guys, we'll probably not color the whole thing together, but I bet you Miss F will give us just a few tips because I notice on her other fish, it kind of looks like some of the colors run together a little bit. Maybe they blend. That might be the word I maybe use. But you can see, like, especially on the fins, she's able to blend it, right? Blend it. Is that what you would call that, Mrs. F?
Yes,
blending?
Definitely. I was blending. I was mixing some colors together.
Yeah, you can trace it, Rosemary.
So maybe we should talk a little bit about how I colored it while you're working on tracing. So I used a whole bunch of colors and then I made a pattern, sort of like a pattern. It's not perfect pattern, but I picked my colors first. So I had green and blue and red. But you could pick whatever colors you want for your rainbow fish. And purple, I think those were my main colors. And I saw rainbow fish on the book had yellow lips. So I used some yellow on its lips. So I also made some shiny scales because the story talks about rainbow fish having shiny scales. Do you remember what he does with the scales?
Rosemary, do you remember what the rainbow fish does with the scales? At the end, what does he do? He share. What's that word I'm saying? Share. Yeah.
He shares his scales. That's right. So you don't have to add a whole bunch of shiny scales to rainbow fish because he shares so many. So that's an option. Alrighty. Should we start coloring then? Are we ready?
Guys, ready? Thumbs up, Kinder Rockets, if you're almost ready. Take your time, Emily. You don't have to start. Good. Emma's ready. What about you guys, Willie, Petey? How you guys doing? Can you show me what you have real quick so I can see how you're doing? Looks good. Yeah, we got a few. Yeah, keep working. Looks like we got a few of them still working on your scales. Looks like Willie's already started coloring. Great job. How you doing, Iris? Can you hold up yours for me as well? Iris? Looks like Jacob, how you doing? Looks like you're still working on the scales a little bit. Are you coloring the scales now, Jacob? Can you show me? Looks very good. Iris is still working on her W's, her little U's. Emily's working on her U's there. Jacob, are you coloring the scales right now? And remember, when we color, do we leave any white spots? Are we coloring or are we scribbling, right? Because Mrs. F, we talk a lot about the difference between coloring and scribbling, right? When we scribble, we just kind of rush and do it fast. And when we color, we're really trying to make our picture look like a piece of art, right?
Right. I try to be the boss of the crayon or
The
the marker
boss
and
of the crayon.
tell it where to go and try to keep it in line. But here's the thing. While you're coloring, you're also trying to make good decisions about how to put your color in the picture. If you look at like the color green, green is spread out all around on the fish body. If you look at the color purple, you can see the same thing. It's all around in different places. And so I even put a hint of purple here in the fins, and I even put a hint of green in the fins. So that's part of thinking as you're making. So when I do my coloring, here's one of my hints. I make a fence. So I think about when I color, like if I'm going to color the face blue, I make my border first, or like my fence. And I tell my students, it's like if you let your dog out in the yard and you have a fence, will it stay in the yard or will it run around the whole neighborhood? If you have a fence, it stays in the yard. So I make my fence first, and then it helps me keep my crayon staying in the lines. We don't want my crayon to go all crazy all over the place.
How is my fence looking around my fish? Does that look good there? I try to put a fence like you were my border.
Exactly. So once I have my fence, then it's pretty quick to just fill it in. So that's one tip. Here's another tip. To help me have my colors spread out, I start one color at a time. So let's say I start with green. I'm gonna do a green, then I skip and do green again. Then I skip. I don't switch my colors and switch my colors and switch my colors. Instead, I think of all the places I could put green first, because I picked green to go first. It doesn't matter what color you pick to go first. But I'm going to think about all the places I could put green, and then I'll put my green down and do the same thing with a different color. So I'm spreading out my green in a whole bunch of different places, and I can always go back and add more green later if I figure out I need more green, but it gets me started. Does that make sense? So I put my green down, and now I try to do that same thing with my.
I started with my favorite color, Miss F. I started with my favorite color and I did purple. So what you're saying is now I should look around and see all the different places where the purple spots are going to go. Because I used to just switch color crayons, but I feel like that takes a lot of time, doesn't it?
It does, especially if you're using things like markers where you have to put the cap back on and then go get your next one, put the cap back on. You're spending a lot of time with the cap, and if you're using paint, then it's really taking a lot of time because you have to wash your brush. So this trick saves you time and it makes sure that your color is balanced. That's the artwork, balancing your color throughout the picture. So when I was done, my color green is balanced, my color red is balanced. Sort of like, I think of balance like on a teeter-totter. Do you ever play on a teeter-totter? Where one person gets on one side and the other person gets on the other, and you can go back and forth and try to be balanced.
And we use scales this year, actually. We use scales. And if you guys remember, we put like the things in the scales, right? We put the little blocks in there and the scale went up and the scale went down. And we tried to make it even, balanced. It's like the same as, right? The same as. So that's when we were doing the scales.
So in art, we try to make balance with color. And so if you look at one color at a time on my rainbow fish, you could see blue is on this side, blue is on this side, blue is up here, blue is down here. Blue is balanced. And I would try to do the same with all of my colors, try to make it balanced. So that's my trick for helping it to be balanced. One color at a time and spread it around. Now, we want to talk about blending. So when I did my blending,
Can I pause you real quick, Miss F? I'm sorry.
Sure.
Yeah, can you guys, I know you're working on the fins. I'm not done. Can you guys put your eyes on the screen for a second so you can see how she blends? Because look, I want to make sure, because we're not going to maybe color it all today. I'm going to pause what I'm doing, right? I paused my scales, and we're going to look at the fins for blends. Everybody looking at the screen? I see Gael's ready. Thank you, Gael. Jacob looks like he's more or less ready. Petey, thank you, Petey. Willie. Okay, we are ready. Emily, good. Emily, yep. Don't worry about coloring all your scales in. We're going to look at the fish right now for the fins. Okay, guys? All right, Miss F, take it away.
Right. I'm not done with my scales either. So I just want to show you this so that you'll know how to finish it on your own. So I start with, this is what I call a base color. So I think about it's going to be mostly blue. That's going to be my base color. Do you see my fence? I do my fence or my border. And then I fill it in. And after I have my base color, I could think about how I want to blend some of the other colors from the scales. So I'm not picking brand new colors. I'm thinking about the purple and the green and the red that were already in my fish. And I think about how I can blend them into my fin. And it's just a little bit like a light coloring. You see that a little bit? I just color lightly. Do you see a little of it? It's kind of like I'm not even pressing very hard. I'm going to just add a little bit of green to that.
And Mrs. F, I noticed you didn't necessarily go all the way to the borders with the second color. Is that correct, right? I kind of, maybe I make it a little bit smaller and smaller as I'm adding those other colors.
Yeah, because I'm not really covering up my base color. My base color is blue, so I want it to look mostly blue. But I'm just kind of adding a little bit here and there, letting some of the other colors kind of show up.
Can you see some of my other colors here, Mrs. F, as you can see, or do I need to press a little harder maybe?
I like it. I think that's working out.
Thank you. You guys see that, Kinder Rockets? You see how I have a few different colors in there? So I think that is all I really was going to share. I was going to share those tips for coloring, and then we can probably finish coloring on our own. And so one thing I told my Kinder Rockets, and this goes for anybody, if you're joining us, Kinder Rockets, I want you to take a picture of your fish and seesaw later. Kinder Rockets, can you do that? And if you're on Facebook, same thing. If you're doing this, take a picture of this, and then maybe we'll be able to do something with your fish. We can't make any promises, but if you can get us a good picture, especially on a nice, wise piece of paper, maybe you can see what might happen. So Mrs. F, why don't, if we can do two things, maybe we'll wrap up on Facebook, and then we'll just kind of quickly wrap up with my own class, if you don't mind. Sure. Does that sound good? All right, so those of you that are on Facebook, we look forward to seeing you finish your artwork. And of course, thank you very much again, Miss F, for joining us. This will be live for a while, and you'll be able to go back and see the recording a little bit later. So I'm going to go ahead and end the feed. Thanks again, Miss F on Facebook. Goodbye. Thanks for joining us.